Are you following a business for the brand, or are you following it for the person that you see the most often? By now, you've already heard the trend that traditional faceless, product-centric brand style marketing is out the window, and every business needs to be more face-forward and have a human being or mascot that someone can relate to really grow your social media account, because people like seeing people and it's all about relatability. How can I trust you, your product, or your service and be loyal to your brand if I don't feel like I have a human being that I can talk to? What we've seen emerge is brands that have done it very well, where they put a face forward from their CEO to their team, or they hire a designated content creator who is probably a great influencer in their own right, and then hire them for the sole purpose of usually building a TikTok. But I really have to ask, are people following it for the brand or for the face of the company? And what happens if the influencer decides to move on? In this video, we're showing off how brands are actually now the newest influencer with this face forward approach, and how certain brands have done it very well. Does it actually work to bring sales through the door, or is it just boosting your followers on TikTok? And most importantly, can they actually sustain themselves when their main human eventually leaves? Hello, happy humans. My name is Lauren, like Lauren with an R, and I am your social media grandma that has been doing social media marketing before some of you were even born to actually use this app. And we get down into the why behind it so that you, happy human, can be more educated and learning to know what you want to ask. If you like this video and want to see more styles of brand analysis and marketing wins and fails, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, and let's dive in. We have a new type of influencer around us, guys. It's brands. It's no longer about relying about influencer collabs or have models that give you that semblance of relatability, but it's actually having a face-forward approach, really taking that in-person, in real life interaction and then turning it digital, but like have a human being that you can relate to and want to follow along on the journey. Oftentimes, it shows up either with like UGC creators, teams, and also influencers who are being hired purely for this business perspective. And it creates that relatability factor that is the starting point in building trust to get people to come in and invest into your business and have buy-in to your brand versus just buying from you. And what it ultimately does is it's creating a more parasocial style relationship with these brands, and it's driving traffic into sales. Once you get very curious and then land on their website, they're able to remarket to you and continue building that trust. But we have to ask the really big question is, what happens if the face of your brand leaves? Take, for example, Set Active. This unhinged interview with the CEO and their main social media content creator showed up on my feed, and I was hooked into the content and proceeded to consume all of their content along the way. Am I part of their target audience? Nope. Not at all. But I ended up following their account because I just love the relatable behind the scenes life that this creator was creating as he was building out the Set Active brand. And they have done this very well, where they, over the years, shown people and company without relying on the founder, but they may have actually relied a little bit too much on a single human. In the case of Sam. Sam is the main creator for Set Active on TikTok. You only see him on TikTok. You don't see him on their Instagram. And his content has gone trending to the point that other brands have actually copied his style of content because they want to do the same level of relatability that he does. And over time, he's grown their account to over 100,000 followers. Throughout all this growth, you're starting to see in the content is that any content that is related to him is always going to outperform any of the other content that exists, because he's basically turning into their mask. Like I said earlier, I follow their account for the office behind the scenes relatability part, not really for the actual product itself. What happens when he actually leaves? Because the comment thread of that video, when he announced that he's leaving and they're looking for a new content creator, they're like willing to go to war for him is one of the main comments. Doesn't matter if they see a drop, because it's really about which audience that they're attracting is the most profitable audience. Is it their TikTok relatability younger sister vibe or their aesthetic oriented older sister vibe that you see on Instagram. How it affects their sales could also depend on if their TikTok actually instead brought in a whole new middle adopter audience compared to their diehards that are probably started on Instagram, because of that unhinged human approach where people are buying in more at a human level versus purely at an aesthetic level. So it'll be interesting to watch to see who now becomes the new face of the company, if it affects anything in their bottom line sales. You do have brands that have actually managed to find a great balance between showing off the owner and the team. Like Nitro Bar has done a really great job of creating the perfect balance of that reflects the vibe and the experience of their actual coffee bar to get people to be really excited, so much that this Nitro Bar has garnered over 20% of Rhode Island's population in their following and has gone viral beyond that, with their videos reaching into the millions. Obviously, not 100% of their followers are from Rhode Island, but how do they manage to grow their brand so well to go beyond something that you see in a lot of normal bars and restaurant marketing? What they've done is create this perfect balance of the interaction between their employees and the owners, giving off the vibe of the coffee shop the whole entire time by focusing on one key thing, asking the crazy questions, because let's be real, you hear the most unhinged things ever possible when you're at a coffee shop. And what they've done is reflect the fun environment of why people like to go and hang out in their coffee shop and just local coffee bars in general. So it's unhinged conversations, chill vibes, and of course, delicious looking drinks along the way. And even if you're not in Rhode Island, you're invested in them to learn more because you were brought in on the conversation and the community that could be created versus just the product itself. And that reflects the heart of their brand, which is about sparking conversation and really cool Nitro Bar. So as you can see, doing the face forward methodology is great at building that relatability, but there's still definitely a fine balance between showing off the human aspect of your brand and creating quote unquote a TV show that attracts people to buy into your brand, and also selling the products that you're doing. For example, with Gym Australia, am I following this account for all the office drama, or am I actually following it because I know what the product is? Because it took me a long time to figure out what actual Gym Australia was, but I was invested in all the trials and tribulations from their social media management creator, who is showing you the behind the scenes of everything going live, of when their boss accidentally said something before it was supposed to be said to the world on an interview. But are we following this account purely for her personal development, or is it actually for the product itself? Because if you look at their content on TikTok, which by the way is not even listed on their website, it's like majority trends related to life in the office or actual like behind the scenes office vlogs. Meanwhile, when you look on their Instagram, it's all about products. So it's like their social media is so separate across the board for two totally different platforms. And I get it, Instagram is aesthetic central while TikTok is realism galore, but you can actually appeal to your audience on both of these apps because they are probably usually interested in both aesthetic core and the real life tea. But because it's so separated, it really does show up in their actual video performances when you look at their video content, where neither fully lands beyond the normal expected reach that you see across the board on their social media, where unless it's a special collab with a relatable face on Instagram or drama on TikTok. So while she is getting some views from her content, is it actually effective in the overall brand awareness? There is hope to balance the forward facing without relying on a single mascot or the founder at all, or taking it to where you completely lose the plot on actually what the company is. And that example is MiLa. Do these guys look familiar to you on the MiLa brand, or this guy look really familiar to you on the MiLa brand? These guys aren't just your traditional influencer collaboration with the company MiLa. They're actually the head content creator for MiLa, and he is their head of promo for MiLa. And they have done a really great job in creating a diverse face-forward centric brand with the perfect balance of celebrity endorsement, influencer turned brand mascot, and honestly just pure love of the nerdiness of food itself, which also allows the founders of MiLa, who may personally not want to be that face forward, get a chance to take a step back and just run the company and be nerdy about the food that they're developing. And this natural balance of combination of content allows the enjoying the nerdiness of food being created by messengers, aka these celebrities and influencers, versus people investing on the creators or influencers themselves, which is the perfect amount of relatability created by familiarity, bonding over love of dumplings and noodles. Do you feel intrigued to try their dumplings after this? Comment down below. And that leads to the final question. Does all of these face forward approaches actually increase sales or just views? Because you can have videos like this one go viral and literally do nothing for sales because there was zero product placement, nothing that was mentioned. It was just like a random happening in the office. That it's all about when and how subtle are you with including your product that permeates the conversation and adds a subtle cue for people that want to check out the product later. But you also don't want to force a trend to happen where like a lot of brands are jumping on the very demure, very mindful trend, and some of them doing really well and not so much at the same time. The ultimate balance is like having product placement in a TV show where you know it's there, it's adding familiarity to you, but you're not losing the plot of the TV show along the way. No matter which way and format that you take in your content creation to bring the face forward elements to your business, it's all down to one key thing. People want to see people. People relate to people because at the end of the day, people do business with people, not businesses. And how you get trust built behind the brand is that human to human connection. And this trend is not going away. It started in e-commerce and it's already expanded over there into the B2B LinkedIn tech company world. And if you're curious to see how those examples happen where you don't feel like you're getting the Elon Musk cringe from the founder, comment down below and I'll make a follow-up video showing it how it shows up in B2B. Thank you guys again so much for watching this video. And remember, happy humans, impact happens one drop at a time. Be kind to yourself and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.